Like, I like high realism when it comes to sci-fi games to some degree. Like, visually, if that makes sense. Like, Horizon Zero Dawn was cool. Characters were still stylized, but, like, the attempts at making everything look kind of realistic. Like, yeah, this could actually be what, like, these sci-fi creations would look like. I'm down with that. Okay, let's speed this back up again. Yeah, so it looks like the main issue is just kind of, sort of, storage. Wait, oh, that's a salvage boat. Mechanical detail always thrives better with realistic art style. I think it's both. I have to deconstruct it after it gets built. She's just going for plastic. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of, like, really cool-looking cartoony stuff out there that I really appreciate. It's just fun to occasionally see, like, hyper-realism with sci-fi hard modeling, and it's just like, yeah, kick-ass looking robots. Yeah. We're waiting. I'm waiting on somebody to go back to this island. And it's bothering me a little bit that no one will. I guess I might as well take some of these other salvagers and set it so it's kind of a priority for them. I think the main problem is just no one is unloading their boats comparatively. I don't even know. Yeah. The fact that you can't cancel a construction in this game is baffling. Like, I say this about a lot of games, that they needed more time in the oven, but I think this one truly needed just like another half year, and then it would have actually been in probably a really good and satisfactory state. Let's see, hauler not unloading boats because storage is full? Storage is getting full at this point, but we still got 60 slots for some things. Most of that is probably for metal. Yeah, you're right. I think part of it is just like, this for example, this has a bunch of metal in it. What if I deny metal out of that? Yeah, so I think what I need to do is actually specifically deny resources. What is he doing? He is twiddling his thumbs. Just because this, for example... Why is there even a cooked fish in there? I don't know. But because I have this prioritized metal, doesn't actually mean my people will prioritize putting metal in there. So we have a silly amount of metal in the generalized storage, but there's no way to, like... There's no way to tell them, like, hey, move all this metal from... Because, like, I've disallowed metal, but no one's going to move it. They might move it, I don't know. But one thing I really liked about RimWorld is you could actually set priorities, like, hey, this shouldn't be here, this should be here, and stuff like that. And that was actually a really nice thing. I guess I'm just going to put more storage there. Yeah, next bit of research we get, we're absolutely getting a better storage yard. Hey, we finally finished Shack Town. Also, we have a silly amount of metal. I should probably start spending it in mass, because I need it. This town would be an absolute nightmare for splinters. I mean, straight up, splinters and just, like, cutting yourself on raw edges of stuff. A lot of these do not look like they would... Like, some of these must have... Yeah, I mean, that's straight up like an airplane wing there. You slip and you, like, scratch your foot on that, because a lot of these characters are barefoot. Like, if you slip and scratch your foot on that, you're going to get infected, and you're going to die. The ocean is not a friendly place. There's parasites and all sorts of horrors. Okay, well, I think we're done. I think we're done with this area. So I'm just gonna keep rolling. Because, yeah, now we're going to just loop, which is the end. The end is just the beginning again. Let's check this out. We can get another sail. I don't know if there's much of a reason for it. Should only allow 1 item per storage. You know, I probably should start doing that. It hasn't been too much of an issue yet, and realistically there's only so many resources, so it's not that big of a deal. Let's see. Can I get... Oh. Right. This is actually something I haven't messed around with. We could actually potentially get more docks out this way. Because this is a whole area that hasn't been, like, fully serviced. Next time we play this, I'll try and expand my walkway networks sooner than later. Yeah, could I actually move many of the docks out here? I kind of can. Not entirely sure. This should allow some of the boats out. Let's see, what do we need? We still need a lot of plastic. So I guess let's just grab more. Do we want to do it here, though? We kind of do. I just want to see if these fishing boats can get out. Because that'd be something to test real quick. I guess otherwise I could actually salvage these fishing boats. Because it's just 2 mooring points in here, and put, you know, just mad storage up and down, like, this entire area. Okay, I'm gonna deconstruct that one, though. It looks like that one is blocking everything, and that's okay. Speaking of splinters, got a huge splinter right through your leather shoe yesterday. Ouch. I had that happen to me once. I was in... it wasn't a splinter. I was in a... I don't know how many of you guys have ever done Science Olympiad. Is Science Olympiad even still a thing? It should be. It was actually pretty fun. But effectively, Science Olympiad was a thing that you would do in the US. And it is still a thing. Cool. It's a thing that you'd at least do in the US, where there were like a number of different challenges. One is like egg drop, where you have to drop an egg from 10, 15, 20, 30 feet, something like that. I don't exactly remember. It's also a thing in Australia too. Cool. But so usually you had to... Usually it was engineering problems more than other stuff. But you had to solve an engineering problem. What are my people up to? Where are they? I just, like, don't see anyone. I guess they're all just twiddling thumbs. Not everybody's working. Weird. I guess that's not the end of the world. Did we already... Oh, yeah, we already ran both of the buoys. Well, you know what? We'll just go to the next one. We'll recruit 2 more villagers, and we'll just see how it goes. But yeah, so egg drop was like drop an egg onto... You effectively had to like make a structure out of paper that could catch an egg without the egg breaking. Which actually is really cool conceptually, and was a lot of fun. Let's see. Not floats well in the muscle of tool. We have room for 2 more. Do we want to get houses? Yeah, let's unlock houses. I'm not entirely sure the difference, but it seems like a good idea to have slightly more people. Keep getting more plastic. Made a hydraulic arm to move ping pong balls. Huh. Yeah, that might have been something. I don't know. It's been a while, and so I only remember the ones that I did, because there were like bottle rockets. There was some kind of vehicle thing, but I never got into that. trebuchets. I made an insanely good trebuchet. That got me gold medals like in three different states. So I was pretty proud of that back in the day. And so, let's see. Do we want to get another water sieve? We might as well, but we should probably start with houses. How big are these? So these are a lot bigger. I guess I'm gonna run the houses up this way. Let's see. Bottle rockets were a lot of fun, but so effectively my middle school actually had a class that was just Science Olympiad. And it's quite possibly one of the coolest classes I've ever had. Ever, because it was just like, yeah, we're just going to do like weird science engineering problems for an entire school year. And admittedly, I didn't actually stay the entire school year. I don't remember what I left during. Maybe that was during the car segment. But we were doing the trebuchet segment, and I got really into it and built it at home. Most of the kids were just using scrap wood in class and just making weird garbage. Bottle rockets were awesome. I figured out how to... I effectively attached a dowel to the nose of mine. And it would make it so it would stick into the... it would stick into the ground, which was awesome. There was some other stuff, too. But, so during the trebuchet segment, there was just scrap wood everywhere, because nobody cleaned up after themselves. I mean, everybody was a middle schooler, so no one cared that much, for better or worse. And so I was just walking around, and what do you know, somebody just left, like, a board with rusty nails sticking up right in the middle of one of the walkways, and me not paying any attention, stepped on that, and it went right through my foot. It didn't hurt as much as I thought it would, but then it was like, oh shit, that's a very rusty nail. Okay, do I have my tetanus shot? I should probably, you know, go get checked up, make sure that, you know, I'm not going to get really, really sick from this. You know, what dumbass left a nail like this? Like, I don't think it hit anything important. I think it went between the center points. I still, interestingly enough, I still sort of have a scar. It's a weird scar, too, because it's effectively just a dot of skin, I guess, that is just, like, it's a perfect little circle that just pokes out of my foot, and every once in a while I, like, realize it's there and, like, scratch it off idly, and I'm like, wait a second, I shouldn't do that. And then it gets worse, and I'm like, well, scars are dumb. Oh! 2 people can live in a house, I think. Well, yeah, it's called a skin tag. Huh. There we go. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's exactly where I'd stepped on the nails, so it's kind of weird to, like, feel it. And I'm like, huh, that's an odd spot. How horrible was that teacher, letting students leave crud everywhere? He was an awesome teacher, but if OSHA cared at all about what we were doing there, and I'm sure there's some kind of, like, OSHA for schools. But if we had had something to that extent, they would have been kind of upset with that teacher. Shame, though, because it straight up was, like, one of the best classes I've ever had. Because it was one of the only classes I've ever had in any school that said, you know, everything is entirely self-deterministic. You have to be the one to figure out what do you do, how do you do it, where are you doing it, blah, blah, blah. And so, like, I came up with my trebuchet design, admittedly with my dad's help, using, like, internet models and a lot of research and stuff. Most classes are like, here's how you solve X problem. And it's like, okay, that's kind of cool. I think this might actually be outside the buildable zone, which is kind of interesting. I guess we might as well get another salvage boat. I don't know if we need another fishing boat, honestly. But, you know, up until that point, every class I generally ever had was like, here's the problems for the math tests. Or write an essay on the Cambodian genocide. It's like, okay. And so finally having the Science Olympiad class, like regardless of the problems and the fact that, yeah, I did get hurt, it was so much more interesting than anything I'd ever done. I hated that middle school because it had huge social issues, but somebody was in charge of coming up with really creative classes. And it was actually kind of a shame that I moved away, because, like, now that I think about it, like, those classes got me to think and try so much more than anything else. There was also kind of a, it wasn't a shop class, but it was like a tech class, where you had 30 different modules that you could do, from bridge building to plane piloting, where effectively it was a course on effectively it was a course where you were just playing American Flight Simulator, and so you learned how to fly the plane in the game, and they had like a full flight stick set up, and you had to also like pretend that you were moving passengers and whatnot, so you had to do logistics for that, and that was really cool. And admittedly, I sucked at that really hard, but they also had, like, a lathe for plastic, so you could make some cool things. There was something about lasers, but I always stayed away from that one, because it was apparently powerful enough to blind people, and so all the bullies really liked to hang out near that one, and specifically... specifically, they like to jokingly shine lasers at people. You know, lasers that could actually cause permanent harm. I have no idea why they never shut that little module down, but it was there year after year, and everybody's like, yeah, don't pick any of the modules nearby, because all the assholes like to pick that one specifically. Okay. I guess I should probably uptick the amount of things we have. How are we doing? Okay, so water has become an issue. So I'll get two more sills. Or stills. And that should be enough to keep me in the green for a while. Okay. And then at some point we'll go to the... At some point we'll go to one of the next nodes, and it won't be so bad. What do we do next? More or less just kind of... I'm not going to say killing time. That is kind of what I'm doing. What the hell is this? Oh, they don't have a fishing net object yet, so it's just a giant pink cube. That's incredibly lazy looking. I understand why, but still. Ooh. We have enough to get the bigger storage yard. Finally. Probably should have prioritized it much sooner, but like, What's required to make one of these? Resources. But resources that I have high quantities of, so it's not so bad. I'm just gonna squander some of my metal, get that stuff down. Fish with the cube. I need a little bit more science before I can get the fishing hut, but then we can do that. Yeah, on the topic of scars, I only have 2 other major scars on my body, I think. One is on my right forearm. It's still super visible. I stabbed myself with a mechanical pencil when I was a kid. Kid? I guess I think I was like 13. We were bowling, and I was screwing around or something, and more or less just accidentally just stabbed myself really badly in the arm with a pencil. I have no idea how or why. It's been long enough, but I've just got like a tiny little scar there. And I see it every once in a while. I'm like, well, that was dumb. It wasn't even like a big cut. It just scarred up really bad compared to everything else. The other one's like on the on my inner thigh, because I had the brilliant idea of trying to bungee jump when I was a kid. I think I was like 3, and strapped a bungee cord to my shorts and hopped out of a tree and hit the tree, and more or less like just a little nubbin of a branch stabbed into my leg. That left one hell of a scar. My parents were like, yeah, we're not taking you to the hospital for that. It was bad. I'm still mad about that. I understand you know, obviously it wasn't life-threatening. I came out fine, but it, like, as a kid, I was like, I think I need stitches. And my parents are like, no, you don't. I'm like, are you sure? Let's see. Atomic wedgie. No, it just tore through my shorts. The wedgie would have worked if my shorts were not second-hand garbage at the time, but still. Let's see. And also, thank you, Bash Boy, for the 16-month resub. Somebody please clip that story. I tell that story often enough. I mean, you can clip it. That's totally fine. I don't think that's actually a particularly rare story from me. How much can these things hold? 100. Oh, wow. Yeah, probably should have just gone with that originally. Well, that solves my storage issues. And a half? We're good? We're good. I think I'm just gonna move on to the next zone. I could stick around here, but this area is boring. Okay. So, water is still an issue. And will probably continue to be. But that's okay. I mean, I could just stop rescuing people. That'd probably do the trick. But I think what I'm gonna try and do is I'm just gonna try and get everything that I can. How are we doing on wood? Okay. The hell? That just despawned? That's weird. Yeah, that just despawned. Really strangely. Okay, let's go back to these buoys. Yeah, all of my buoys just kind of freaked out. What the hell is going on here? They just go bloop, and then they're gone. There's like no raw resources here. Alright, we gotta salvage this stuff quick. Because half of the stuff that I was going to grab is just gone. Including, like, all of the wood. All of the wood has... this has got to be a bug. All of the resources spawned outside the playable map. Hopefully, we have at least one accessible fishbowl currently going. Do we? No, we don't. Okay, so I'm just gonna salvage these and we're bailing. Because we have enough food to keep us going, but all of the resource zones that I needed to harvest just ran away from me. And so sticking around here would be bad. Okay, so we're just gonna let that guy get the water. Build area increased when they change zones. Maybe? But like, a lot of... there was a fishbowl right underneath my raft, and then it was just like... never mind. Do we even bother? I'm gonna let this guy fill up. And then we're just gonna get out of here. Let's see, do we go for more people? Well, we've got another factory here. So let's go down. Let's get more villagers, I guess. Holy shit, that's nothing but villagers. Maybe I shouldn't have. Oh boy. Alright, whatever. I mean, I could just ignore these guys. I'm just gonna ignore them. Yep, so there's the I actually think the game is busted. Let's sit around and watch for a second. Yeah. Look at it go. What is happening? Well, I guess we've hit the end of the game. as every time I straight up try and gather any resources, it just blips out of existence. Yeah, we can save and reload. I'm gonna try that because can my ships leave the dock? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they can. I mean that shouldn't be happening. If my ships couldn't leave the dock, that still shouldn't be happening. Okay, next. Nope, there goes. Yeah, so I guess the game has just decided that let's see. Cause yeah, here. I'll show you. People can absolutely leave the... See? They can still leave. Otherwise that boat wouldn't be able to make it out. But whatever it is, something is bugged horribly, so whenever I try and gather resources from any of these nodes, they just wink out of existence. No, because I never went to this map node before, so I truly have no idea what's happening, but at this point, the game has become unwinnable. This isn't really that big of a problem, seeing as we hit the end of content. The only thing that we're kind of missing is, like, desalination, slightly different food, being able to fish without actually going anywhere, which is kind of neat. But, you know, oh well, it's not the end of the world, so yeah, whether I like it or not, this game has decided it no longer wants to be played by me. And I guess that's okay. Yeah, it looks like there's, it's a known bug. Yeah, and that's kind of what I expected, but I was just gonna play this game until, yeah, no fix. I was just gonna play this game until we hit the end of content, one way or another, and I guess what we've hit is, yes, the end of content. It's just a different end of content than I was expecting. The content literally flees before me, and that is hilarious. And okay, because you know what, I've got so many other games to play, I just wanted to give this one some time because I was really looking forward to it. And so, I think at this point, I'm just going to uninstall the game, obviously, put it on the back burner, and come back to this when it hits 1.0. I might come back to it for like an intermediate patch, but honestly, this seems like the kind of game that truly would be best if I wait. Either until they ask, like, hey, Wander, can you do some more videos? And at which point I'll probably be like, yeah, sure. Or, you know, it hits 1.0 and it's fully done and fully fixed and so on and so forth. Because, yeah, it's a really fun game, but it needs work, and it needs some fixes, and it's real good. Eventually. Congrats, you have reached the end of the demo. You can no longer collect resources. Ah! It is fun, though, and I'm glad I played this, and I really am looking forward to where they take it. I just can't play anymore. It won't let me.